Tower, you're seeing this airplane just crash into 3. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Just keeps happening.
The Trump administration is firing hundreds of FAA employees with probationary status. That includes critical air traffic control employees. Just 19 days after a military helicopter crashed into a commercial airliner, killing everyone on board.
A little bit about PASS. We're a federal employees union. We represent about 11,000 FAA employees, and they are in the Air Traffic Organization and the Aviation Safety Organization for FAA. So a lot of these folks that we're talking about support a couple of the key roles in FAA, which is for us, which are the technicians that maintain the air traffic control system and the aviation safety inspectors who oversee the air carrier system, make sure that they're following all the regulations under 14 CFR, and of course under general aviation.
With the Trump administration taking steps such as these.
Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStromShow. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you.
Hey, another successful flight. All glory be to God. Just touched down at the airport. Dealing with this career, you gotta be cautious. Most of all, you gotta stay prayed up. Believe it.
They make qualified individuals such as this man the scapegoats.
We must have only the highest standards for those who work in our aviation system. I changed the Obama standards from very mediocre at best to extraordinary. You remember that. Only the highest aptitude, they have to be the highest intellect and psychologically superior people were allowed to qualify for air traffic controllers. That was not so prior to getting there. When I arrived in 2016, I made that change very early on because I always felt this was a job that, and other jobs too, but this was a job that had to be superior intelligence, and we didn't really have that, and we had it.
Because of rhetoric such as this.
The initiative is part of the FAA's diversity and inclusion hiring plan. Think of that. The initiative is part of the FAA's diversity and inclusion hiring plan, which says diversity is integral to achieving FAA's mission of ensuring safe and efficient travel. I don't think so. I think it's just the opposite. The FAA website shows that the agency's guidance on diversity hiring were last updated on March 23rd of 22. They wanted to make it even more so. And then I came in, and I assume maybe this is the reason.
And this.
Do you have any evidence that any of those hires that were there at the control Wednesday night were DEI hires?
So the president's been very clear about this. This is not saying that the person who is at the controls is a DEI hire, but let's just say, first of all, we should investigate everything, but let's just say the person at the controls didn't have enough staffing around him or her because we were turning people away because of DEI reasons. There is a very direct connection between the policies of the last administration and short-staffed air traffic controllers. That has to stop. And by the way, it's so funny to me, the media has picked up on this, not you, of course, Maria, but others have picked up on this. The president made very clear that he wasn't blaming anybody, but he was being very explicit about the fact that DEI policies have led our air traffic controllers to be short-staffed.
And if you thought they gave one iota, they don't.
Do you have a plan to go visit the site or meet with any of the
I have a plan to visit, not the site, because you tell me, what's the site? The water?
Or to meet with the first responders.
This is how Trump answers questions regarding a plane crash on his watch. But why are they doing this?
Do you believe that women and minority pilots are inherently less intelligent and less skilled than white male pilots?
No, I'm just saying that we should not lower the standards for them.
Okay. But there's no evidence that standards are being lowered when it comes to the airline industry.
You've repeatedly said that there's no evidence that standards are being lowered, and watch the replies showing all the evidence that it is.
Replies, though, on social media or on Twitter are not necessarily fact and evidence.
No,
that's people's opinion.
They will cite in the replies to this. You will see how often the information is cited showing that indeed there are significant cases where standards are lowered.
And I do hope that happens. I do hope that happens, and I look forward to it. And as you said, if you're wrong, then you're wrong, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong.
Yes.
Okay. So and I'm glad we're having this conversation, debating. This is what we should be doing, debating the issue. So if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and then they'll be proven in the thing, and you as well. But I just want to tell you that pilot that you talked about, in fact, was a woman pilot, landed the plane safely despite the major malfunction with the equipment. Boeing has taken responsibility for that incident, saying that it was caused by a faulty door panel. So I'm not sure what that had to do with lowering the standards for pilots when it was a faulty.
No, it's not lowering standards for pilots. It's the incentive structure. I believe at Boeing changed to include DEI as a fundamental executive incentive. But in my view, it should be purely about passenger safety.
Okay, but do you understand how by saying just that standards are being lowered, that you're implying that they're being lowered because people are less skilled and less intelligent, and you're talking about people of color and or women?
Look, I'm saying we should not lower standards.
But you don't.
That's it.
I think everyone can agree that you shouldn't lower standards.
Right.
But you're implying that they're lowering standards because of people of color or women, because someone is not a white male. You're saying that they're less skilled and less intelligent. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying that they are.
Then why would they be lowering the standards?
I don't know. Why are they lowering the standards?
Just so you know, 5% of pilots are female, 4% are black. So you're talking about this widespread takeover of minorities and women when that's not actually true.
It's because of guys like this. Because while he touts this...
But now we're saying that, no, actually, we are going to complain. If money is spent badly, if your taxpayer dollars are not spent in a sensible and frugal manner, then that's not okay. Your tax dollars need to be spent wisely on things that matter to the people. I mean, these things, it's just common sense. It's not draconian or radical, I think. It's really just saying, let's look at each of these expenditures and say, is this actually in the best interest of the people? And if it is, it's approved. If it's not, we should think about it.
It's far from reality via Politico. The FAA has spent years tangling with Elon Musk's SpaceX for violations related to its operations, including multiple incidents when the company launched rockets without approval. During the past year, the agency proposed fining SpaceX more than $633,000 for twice using plans the agency had not greenlit, and forced the company to idle its launch pads in Texas for months because of a pending Fish and Wildlife Service review. So this goes to show he does not care about life. All of this, I'm pro-life, I'm super Christian and all this stuff. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything but himself and how much money he could make to continue ruling us. The piece continues. He's used, Musk, his social media megaphone to threaten to sue the agency for regulatory overreach, accused it of politically motivated behavior, taunted the FAA with crude humor, and poked at the agency's rules. Of course he did, which he says moved too slowly to meet his goal of getting human civilization to Mars. He's trying to colonize it. He has also called for the resignation of the leader of the FAA, Mike Whitaker. A good point, by the way, was made from the Majority Report and Emma Vigeland here.
This gives you an indication of how petty these guys are, how sociopathic you have to be to accumulate this kind of wealth. Because that $633,000, oh well, he's going to teach us all a lesson and deregulate our airspaces because he wants to shoot his toys into space, into our atmosphere where it could fall on top of us whenever he wants. And so because he doesn't get to shoot his toys into space where they could fall on top of us whenever he wants our air traffic to be much less safe.
My thoughts exactly. Let's continue. From Rolling Stone's Tim Dickinson and Andrew Perez, at the same moment the agency is being hollowed out, Musk himself may be poised to profit. Listen to this, please. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy posted on Twitter, employees from Musk's company, SpaceX, are going to be touring, and I believe they already did, an air traffic control command center to envision how we can make a new, better, modern, and safer system. Let's get through this, and then I'll give you my 2 cents. They add the administration's invitation to SpaceX engineers to help reimagine federal air traffic control is giving fresh evidence to critics who believe that the end goal of DOGE is not to create efficiencies within government, it never was, but to degrade federal expertise within agencies like the FAA, so they are forced to turn to for-profit companies that Musk will be running, my view, effectively privatizing essential government services. Yes, that is the end goal. In conclusion, Musk is not only pulling the strings of government power to remove a disagreeable cop from the SpaceX beat, he's also setting up the company to potentially receive lucrative contracts to overhaul the nation's air safety systems. These are among the problems Elizabeth Warren, senator from Massachusetts, pointed to in an interview with Rolling Stone. So look. They're talking about conflicts of interest. We need to be very clear about this, okay? And I know that some people, when I say this word, you're going to feel the ick and you're going to say, well, no, I'm pro that. Come on, how could you attack it? This is a form of how dangerous capitalism is. Because what you have here is Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, J.D. Vance, and others who are staunch capitalists, okay? And I understand the opposition is largely, except for a few dissenting voices, very heavily in favor of capitalism as well. Not necessarily to this degree, but this is what Republicans want, and this is also a form of how dangerous capitalism is. Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, bought the presidency, basically said, if you get in, I'm going to donate millions and millions and millions of dollars to you, Donald Trump, which, by the way, I only receive from American taxpayers because I have contracts with the federal government. He gives it to Donald Trump, tells him, in my view, in those meetings, hey, here's what's going to happen. If you win, because I gave you hundreds of millions of dollars, some reports said it was $30+ million a month, even though he was like, whoa, I didn't do that. Don't believe a freaking word this guy says. He tells Trump, in my view, in those meetings, if this happens, I want to be in charge of this, and this. And why is that? Because he wants to enrich himself that much more. And for him, Donald Trump is his Manchurian candidate to achieve it. If you go over Elon Musk's family history, along with David Sachs's family history, along with Peter Thiel's family history, you will see that they will use politics, they will use religion in order to become the richest people on the planet so they can be our emperors. That is what this is about. And also, in addition to all of this, he wants to privatize the airspace. So basically, it is only for the rich and wealthy, and he could then be in charge of air traffic control to enrich himself that much more. There's so many words I want to say that I can't say because this video will get demonetized, but I am really peeved. I am peeved at how Republicans truly say that they are for small government. They are not. How they say that they are pro-life, yet they are going to be privatizing not just the airspace, but they are going to be privatizing all of our national parks, which is going to lead to commercial real estate, in my view, and devastation for wildlife. I hate it here.
If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.